Hello, welcome, gluten-free friends. Look what we found at Walmart. Pancake and waffle mix. Yahoo, it's getting so accessible. So let's make some pancakes and see how they come out. We'll give it the old taste test. Here's what we need to make these. 1 3/4 cups of the flour, 1 cup of milk if you like them on the thinner or runnier side, more milk if you like them on the thick and fluffy side, less milk. Don't worry, all this is on the back of the bag. 4 tablespoons of butter, which is half of the stick of butter. 1 egg, of course, our favorite mixing bowl, spatula, and whisk. Then we'll get to how we cook these. We'll be using the griddle. But for now, let's get started and mix it up. Gently melted butter that did not get hot. It specifically says make sure it's cool. So go gentle in the microwave or on the stovetop. Gently melted butter that is cool. 1 cup of milk and 1 egg added. So let's make sure these get mixed well together. So here are all the wet ingredients fully mixed together. Next is 1 3/4 cups of this flour. And heads up, it does not have a resealable enclosure on it, and it's not really big enough to get that 1 cup measuring in there. So I put it over another bowl. And tip, when we're working with flour and we're baking, get a knife that has a flat edge and scrape off the excess. We don't want this piled up. We don't want it heaped up. We want it nice and flat and level. Okay, so 1 3/4 cups flour goes in here and gets mixed in. Here's the batter, fully mixed, no lumps, no clumps, ready to go on the griddle. So let's get the griddle out and heat it up. Here is our beloved griddle by Dash, and I love it so much I did a review, and I'll put the link to that down in the description. So it's preheating, so we have a nice and hot griddle, and I have learned through experience, this goes right after the 4, not quite in between the 4 and the 5, because Dash has this really cool little booklet that gives the temperature that says, it says 4 is 350 and 5 is 400. So you can see I made the note, gluten-free pancakes are in between, but not exactly halfway. Again, I just turn it to the 4 and then a little bit past. And here are the tools. So this is about 1/4 cup once I dip the pancake batter in. So that's what I pour the pancake batter onto the griddle with. And then, of course, the spatula that's rubber to get it off the nonstick griddle and our batter. So let's get pouring. So here's the big old bowl full of pancake mix. And I put this ladle in that, again, is about 1/4 cup. And I keep it over the griddle. All right. These are about 4 inches across. So 4-inch pancakes, we got 8. And I've learned I set the timer for 4 or 4.5 minutes. So since this batter's new, let's go with 4 minutes and see how brown they are. And there's the timer at 4 minutes. These things are so high, I don't think they're done. And the reason I say that is when we look for air bubbles, there aren't a ton and there's still a lot of wet batter. So I'm going to go back and set it for another 30 seconds and then come back and check again. Okay, now we're at 4.5 minutes. Let's give a flip test and see how they look. Oh, okay, we could have stopped at 4 minutes. Good to know. All right, let's let them finish and we'll test them. I so very much wish I could share the smell. The smell is so fantastic. I can't wait for them to cool to taste test. So this side is at 4 minutes. This side was at 4.5. So also, big note here, these came out really high. And I used 1.5 cups of milk when it called for a cup. And remember, it said, if you want them higher and thicker, use less. If you want them more gooey, moist, or on the runny side, use more. So this is 1.5 cups of milk, and they came out this high. All right, they got to cool down, and we can taste them. And here's an even better picture of at 4 minutes on the griddle. And oh my gosh, they smell so good. They smell buttery and yummy and delicious. So we got 12 out of this total. So to recap, these 4 right here were on the griddle for 4 minutes. So they're a little bit lighter than these that were at 4.5. This one, oh, and it yielded 12. Yeah, a certain helpers already helped himself and said they were fantastic. So my turn. Let's do the taste test. Wow. First bite. These are incredible. They're crispy on the outside, perfect pancake consistency on the inside. There's a lot of flavor. You can taste the butter. I would have added more milk so it's not so high, which would also yield more pancakes, by the way. But these are awesome. They're fantastic. These are definite keepers. So, wow, what a pleasant win and surprise. Walmart's everywhere, right? Even around the world and, of course, online. So, thank you. Hope that helped, and we'll see you on the next one.